Do we have everything we need? I got my beer. That's what I need.
And we broke your fucking computer.
No, I don't think it's broken. We'll see what happens. Hey, all right. Welcome back to Flicks and Dicks. If you are a first-time listener, welcome to the show. If you're a returning listener, you'd be the only one. But thank you so much for coming back. This week we're going to be doing Toy Soldiers, 1991, directed by... Well, you know what? Who's not directed by? It's not directed by Wolfgang Petersen, which I ran my whole life thinking this was directed by Wolfgang Petersen.
Really?
Yeah, Air Force One and frickin' Das Boot and all that shit. It's not him. It's somebody completely different. Who's the director on this?
Daniel Petrie Jr.?
That's right. Daniel Petrie Jr., most notable from nobody in particular.
He's known for Beverly Hills Cop and
Herner
and Tooch. Herner and Tooch.
Have you started drinking yet?
I guess so.
You know what? Turner and Hooch, Beverly Hills Cop, both very good movies. This one, I guess I thought it was a Wolfgang Petersen film because I had fucking tanks and helicopters. When you've got a helicopter flying sideways through a shot, I just assume it's Wolfgang Petersen.
Well, it damn sure couldn't have been Michael Bay because there wasn't anything, green screened or CG'd into it.
That is so true. Not one damn thing CG into this whole movie. And not that they couldn't do it. I mean, pre-90s, all sorts of green screen. I mean, with Willow, Star Wars, all of that. It's possible.
You could have green screened the hell out of this movie. I mean, from the explosions to the helicopters, but it was all legit.
All right, so what's the summary on this one?
When terrorists seize control of a boarding school, a group of troublemaking boys decide to resist them.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Man, I've read some other summaries on this that were like 2 pages long.
Well, when you take out a love story, then, you do not have to give a big old summary. This is not
a
love story. I guess
This
it's a father-son love-hate story.
This is a rated R movie.
This is
a very rated R movie.
We found that out with one of our children watching it with us.
There was a lot of la 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 la. Wait.
There's just shit fuckity fuck all over this
it wasn't
that.
The language, it was the phone sex bit in the beginning.
Yeah, that phone sex scene was a little uncomfortable for a number of reasons we're going to get into, but
not to mention the fact that uncomfortable being uncomfortable anyway. Our daughter was the one watching it with us.
And the homoeroticism throughout this entire movie. Let's stand around in our
underpants and get real close,
really close.
Make your legs wide open, and I'm going to stand right in between them. There's a lot of that action.
We got a freshman kid who's eye level with Will Wheaton's junk, but we're gonna get into all that good stuff. Will Wheaton. Now let's go over this cast because this is a pretty badass cast. This is amazing, actually.
It really is. Who do we have?
I would like to start with a personal favorite, which is Louis Gossett Jr.
That's who you're starting with.
I'd love to start with Louis Gossett
Jr. is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I think probably most notable. I mean, you could say Scent of a Woman, and Officer and Gentleman, but I think he's Iron Eagle.
Iron Eagle.
Something about a good man being put in that shithole really pisses me off.
I've got to watch that again.
Oh fuck!
It's such an awesome movie.
I just watched it 2 days ago, man. It's just as bad as I remember.
That's what makes it good.
Wonderfully bad, yes.
If ever I had a dean of a school, I would definitely want him. I mean, he was firm yet understanding and reasonable. I mean, until the end, but he was reasonable.
He's written very well.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
I don't think this is Louis Gossett Jr. I think Louis Gossett Jr. What Louis Gossett Jr. brings to the table is an Iron Eagle. Yeah, Iron Eagle. I think that's Louis Gossett Jr. I think he's directable in Officer and a Gentleman and Toy Soldiers, but I think if you just leave Louis Gossett Jr. to his own devices, yeah, you get Iron Eagle.
I think you're probably right. But he's still awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's toned it down a little bit and plumped up a little bit in this one. But his character I think is sympathetic, and it's doing that thing, especially in the 90s. 90s prep school movies. What the hell?
No kidding.
Yeah, all the 90s prep school movies.
They weren't just prep school movies. It was movies about high school and prep school.
I got a beat on this. I mean, we've got an obsession. Hollywood had an obsession with boys prep school movies from 89 to 96, which includes School Ties, Boys with Winona Ryder, Toy Soldiers, this movie, Dead Poets Society, The Emperor's Club, and Son of a Woman. All 90s boys prep club or prep school movies.
Yeah, but you also had your high school movies. Prep school.
This is a pretty specific genre, though.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that brings us over to Denholm Elliott. Now, really, Denholm Elliott, he has had quite an illustrious career, but I think everyone's just going to remember him from the Indiana Jones movies.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's Marcus Brody, okay? And I think he is about as useful in this movie as Marcus Brody was in the Indiana Jones movies.
Jones flicks, yeah.
No, I liked his I don't give a fuck. I'm going to continue to keep on teaching these boys attitude through the whole movie.
You think it was necessary, though?
Yeah.
You could have cut his character right out of the film
You
and
think
not
so?
lost
No.
You had
Really?
in my opinion anyway, you had to have some sort of authoritative figure on the kid's side.
But what the hell is Louis Gossett Jr.? He is totally on the kid's side.
But
he's playing the dean.
He wasn't in the school. He wasn't in the school while this was going on. He was outside of the school.
I don't think because he's the headmaster. I don't think the headmaster's teaching classes. I think he was doing that in because the faculty was.
He was keeping the kids occupied.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was giving them something to do, trying to keep their minds off.
He's the most unrelatable. They did a good job of relating the character.
He was actually one of my favorite characters.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you.
Oh, interesting.
I liked him in it. I did.
Yeah, he was very, you know what, screw it. I'm here with the kids. They still know that they're not alone in this. He showed no fear.
That's why he's in the movie. Okay, I couldn't understand why he's in the movie.
Yeah.
You needed a mouthpiece and a representative for the kids watching on the inside. Louis Gossett Jr. is on the outside.
Yeah, you've got the badass on the outside. You have the calm one
That's
that
probably why they couldn't cut
could be
that
shot, but
he was a necessary character.
He looked like dead weight, and he looked confused in this whole movie. Like he didn't know what he was saying.
He did in most movies.
Yes.
Well,
my God, he's Marcus Brody.
Yes.
Aren't most headmasters confused as to what's actually going on? I mean, it's the dean that deals with the discipline. It's the dean that deals with all this stuff. And the headmaster's like, yes, we're still getting all the funding. Yep, we still look good to the media. Yep, we still, I mean.
Yep. I'm headmaster of a reject school. That's fantastic. Well,
right.
I guess I can focus on that. All right, so let's. So those are the two main guys, in terms of the adults. Let's get into the kids. I mean, Sean Astin.
Hang on, no, not it for the adults.
Well, I mean, the
Divoff.
principals. Oh shit!
Divoff was a principal.
I was getting to him. Definitely. All right. Let's go and talk about Andrew Divoff. He's
Are you
awesome.
pronouncing his name correctly?
I'm sure I'm not.
No, we're butchering
I'm saying
the hell out of
it. I'm saying it like I know how it's pronounced, but I have no idea how to pronounce it.
It looks right to me. So,
All right.
Okay.
Anybody actually listening to this, go ahead and send an email, Flicks and Dicks, and give us the phonetic spelling of Andrew Divoff. Yeah. So yeah, how do you do?
I thought he did great. I mean, he's a B-grade actor, but yeah, he always plays the villain, and he plays the villain quite well, I think.
What are his notable?
Air Force One.
Oh, he was in Air Force One.
Yeah, he was a bad guy in Air Force One.
A bad guy.
Yes, I don't. He wasn't the main bad guy, but he was a bad guy in Air Force One. He was the main bad guy if you ever saw any of the Wishmaster movies.
No,
silence.
I did not see the Wishmaster. No, I think that this could have been your typical bad guy, but he played like this vulnerability, and everything's not going. I mean, yes, the operation was obviously planned out, but he's dealing with unexpected contingencies as they come up in a very realistic way.
Right. Damn it, what was I going to say? No, I think he was completely not a bad... I mean, of course he's a bad guy, but he seemed way too like I could take him down. He didn't do the I'm gonna die 5 times. He didn't do.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking
He's mortal.
about.
Yeah. You stick a bullet in his head, he's gonna go down.
Die. It's not gonna be like, no, wait, I'm gonna reach for this and I'm gonna reach for that.
He has had that scene in various other
Oh,
movies.
that is the typical taking down the main bad guy action.
I don't remember what the movie was, but I just have this vivid image in my head of him. He's supposed to be dead, and all of a sudden he sits up from, the chaos and everything around him, sits up, points a gun, somebody turns around, boom, shoots him in the head, he's out. But, yeah, that's usually what happens with the bad guys in movies. But in this one,
from what the internet says, this is
well.
definitely his best performance as playing a bad guy, and which I totally see. He also said this was his favorite bad guy performance.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah,
Nice.
and it really shows on screen. It really looked like he was going through all those nuances, making it so much more than what it could have been.
Aside from him, his singular goal was to try and get his dad out of prison. But as far as the vulnerability or his vulnerability goes, I didn't really see that until the end.
Until the kid died, and now he knew that he was fucked when it came to the mafia. Fucked.
Yeah, I love that. He really started shitting his pants on
They
that.
didn't really get into that. I mean, it wasn't addressed. It was just kind of make sure to let them know it was an accident.
I know that they didn't get into it, but it was very clear, like,
But yeah, you could see it.
That's called
we're going
subtext.
down.
That's called
You
good
could definitely
filmmaking.
see it.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
That was good. They could have really belabored that, but they didn't. All right, good. So let's go ahead and move on to Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton he acts the exact same way as Keanu Reeves.
Yep. He's the very same in every
They
movie.
could have played brothers in any movie ever.
Was he Wesley Crusher?
Yes! He is the same.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Wow, I love it, Lisa, because I love when we're so diametrically opposed on these viewpoints, like with Keanu Reeves and with other actors.
Just like with Keanu Reeves, you did see a different Keanu Reeves in like 1 or 2 movies. You saw a different Will Wheaton in Star Trek.
Yeah.
As Wesley Crusher. But in everything else that Will Wheaton has done, he's been the exact same. And it wasn't always a different Will Wheaton as Wesley Crusher. Towards the end, he developed into the Will Wheaton that we saw in Toy Soldiers, that we continued to see into everything all the way up to and including Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only time that I've seen him be a decent actor is in Big Bang Theory when he plays himself. He's playing himself.
He is playing himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he's reading lines and you can tell. I don't think...
And he's still not acting great. I don't think he's a good actor.
I don't think he's a good actor either. I think he's likable. I think he's relatable. And I think he really cares about his craft and all that. But I don't think... Because he tried on different acting pants in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This was done right after his stint on Star Trek. I mean, right after he did like 2 movies in between that were just basically nothing roles, but probably meant to kind of get him moving outside of Wesley Crusher.
He really tried for a while to get out of Wesley Crusher, but it failed miserably.
The show's too big. I mean, everybody, Patrick Stewart. And
Number one.
Anyway, all those guys, Marina Sirtis, and all those guys.
The only person that has been able to break away from Star Trek has been Patrick Stewart. Everybody
You're
else...
telling me you don't see Captain Picard when you're watching X-Men?
I don't.
Really?
I really don't.
I kind of see the similarities there, but Patrick Stewart has done fucking everything.
He has. All I'm saying is that
Broadway
the next generation
But
probably
everybody-
really jacked it up. Jonathan Frakes.
Thank you, Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes, of
I
course.
was just looking that
who
shit
plays Will on Star Trek Next
Yes.
Generation. He hasn't done shit besides that. He hasn't done anything.
Directing.
Yeah, which is fine. And if Will Wheaton wants to get into directing, that's awesome. But I don't think he became the actor maybe he wanted to be. Or maybe he was trying to be, or maybe people said that he was going to become.
No, Jonathan Frakes?
No, Will
Oh,
Wheaton.
I was like, Jonathan Frakes
Yeah.
actually openly said, I really enjoy directing. But Will Wheaton actually got so fed up with being compared to Wesley Crusher all the time, he just said, fuck them all, and disappeared for a while.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he was in the same position as Pee Wee Herman and Urkel. I mean, it
Oh,
was
good Lord, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just a character that you could not break away from.
You can't shake it. You
Nope.
can't shake it. But I think Sean Astin has been able to play a number of completely different, which we're going to hit Sean Astin in just a second. But
How about right now?
yeah, let's go ahead and let's transition into Sean Astin. How do you do on his performance?
Perfect.
You think it was perfect?
Perfect, yeah.
I really like Sean Astin.
I do too.
I find it difficult to find flaws or faults.
Let's go over some of the types of things he's played. I mean, we obviously got Mikey from the Goonies, but he's played Rudy. My God, he's played Rudy, and of course he's Samwise in The Lord of the Rings. But he's done so many things. He played in 50 First Dates. He played the brother. How much different can you get from any other character he's played? I mean, that was awesome. So, I really enjoyed him in that. And
The hormone taken list.
Yeah. This is a guy who can become any role, and he does it perfectly, flawlessly. I really enjoy him.
He tries so hard too. He really puts everything on. Maybe he's not the best actor in the world, but good Lord, he tries.
Well, it's succeeding because he's being put in movies that did really, really well.
Yeah.
So well done. Well done.
Honestly,
Sean.
I think the only reason why you haven't seen Sean Astin do much more than the roles that you've seen him in,
Films of the
his
90s.
stature.
Hey, he's a short guy.
So's Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
In
but
Tom Cruise, they had him on soapboxes for the majority of his
Okay,
movies.
you know who they didn't is comedian guy.
Danny DeVito.
No, yeah, there's one. But no,
you gotta have a larger than life personality. Sean Astin doesn't have that larger.
he's in The Wedding Ringer.
Wedding Ringer.
Black comedian guy.
Yeah.
There's a movie called Wedding Ringer.
Yes, dude, it's actually quite good.
And he's
What?
a tiny little guy. So
Kevin Hart.
thank
Who's Kevin
you.
Hart?
Who's
Kevin
Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Funny ass comedian.
Yeah.
He also did. No, we're not going to get into that.
But as far as Sean Astin's stature, who the hell cares? Who cares? We've already proven
Okay,
it's fine.
his stature made him perfect for movies like Rudy.
Yeah, short,
Perfect.
squat,
Perfect
kind of like.
for that role.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, come on now. He was a hobbit.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's he bulked up for? He bulked up for Rudy. He bulked up probably for this one because he
bulked
seems
up
like a
for
small
50
guy.
First Dates.
He bulked up for 51st
Yeah,
Dates.
that's so funny, man. He's like, God, I'm gonna have to hit the weights again. Damn it! All right, so let's go ahead and transition to Keith Coogan. Now, I really only know Keith Coogan from Adventures in Babysitting. He sucked in that, but the movie sucked in general. But I still liked the movie. But
He did Hiding Out as well.
Is this the kid who had asthma?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, let's not forget he had asthma.
Okay.
Jesus, he was sucking on that thing every 2 seconds. But
If he wasn't sucking on the inhaler, he was digging in his nose. And
He was always he dug through.
I didn't notice that. Was
the
he-
whole
seriously?
movie's
was he
all-
trolling through his tunnel?
In one
The
of the
opening
scenes
scene where they spray paint.
One of the opening scenes,
Yeah.
like right after they spray paint rejects on the sign. He's coming up and he's talking to what's the kid's name? George Perez, the Hispanic.
Yeah, we're gonna hit him in
one
just a
of the
second.
gang.
Yeah.
He's just going to town, just digging for gold up in that.
Do you know what? This is something I've actually wondered because I noticed this when I'm watching TV shows or movies. Yeah, there's plenty of people digging around in their nose. I think it's probably just a natural thing that you're supposed to do while you're just bouncing off of somebody. It's supposed to be like this natural flow of dialogue. So you just
It
go
was
ahead
just
and
as
mess with your
natural as
nose.
everybody ran around their underwear.
That's right. Everybody freaking digs around in the nose.
Or if you happen to see Game 1 of the World Series this year, you saw the Mets pitcher. I can't remember the guy's name. He's got crazy dreads.
One of the how many pictures? There's a lot of pictures.
The big.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He's got big freaking dreads, massive dreads, and he's sitting there in the bullpen, and man, he is just going to town up in that nose.
That's hilarious. It's like when you drive up next to somebody in a car and they're digging around. It's like, you do know that's glass, right? You do know
Or
that
like
we can
that
see
dude that we
right
drove
through
up
it.
next to down in the Springs who happened to be rubbing one out as we were going down the road.
Yeah. Just because you're in your car doesn't mean we can't see you.
He was
Stop it.
driving down the road and jerking off. It was
By the way,
funny and frightening.
lots of sports references on this podcast. A lot more than I was expecting.
I'm so sorry.
That's so weird. I mean, I don't mind, but I mean,
Lots
just
of. We made a
pleasant
Just because we have
surprise.
the game on inside, just in case we might need to go to the bathroom, we can actually check
the
the,
Bengals
scores.
and the Steelers. Come on, the Bengals are one of the 5 undefeated
Oh,
teams
you're
still.
dating this podcast. Don't do that.
So yeah, absolutely, right? You don't know I'm gonna post this thing.
Should I get the kids to go bust out the Polaroid and we can take some pictures?
You got a Polaroid?
I do.
Well done.
Yes.
Do we still have a Polaroid?
We do. We don't have the film for it, but we do have a Polaroid camera.
Nice.
Yeah.
So back to Keith Coogan. Not only is he a resident nose picker, but he's also a resident asthmatic smoker, which has always cracked me up. People who have asthma and smoke. But he's smoking all over the place in this movie.
Yes, he is.
Very weird.
They came in handy.
Yeah.
That's why they.
I'm going to get into a lot of the crafting
so
of this script
yeah.
because the script is well crafted, and they're doing things like this to give them a reason for having it later.
It's not like, look, I can suddenly know electronics and I suddenly know this and that, which, hell yeah. By the way, totally not by the way. I am so grateful that he asked that kid, so how does this work? Instead of just knowing.
Yeah.
Sean Astin's character didn't just know.
They could have easily gotten away with that too, because Sean Astin already showed this aptitude with the phone, tapping the phone system and all that. So they could have easily just said, oh yeah, I thought it was my own. No, he's researching this shit. He's asking questions.
He's asking questions.
That's what you fucking do.
And the shameless Radio Shack plug. Anybody who is old enough to
Radio Shack.
know Radio Shack.
Radio Shack's the best.
You used to be able to go into Radio Shack and buy fucking anything.
Now you buy cell phones.
Not anymore, because Radio Shack doesn't exist.
Yeah, they just closed them.
R.I.P. Radio Shack. All right, let's go ahead and move over to T.E. Russell. All right. Now, I would typically say Resident Black Dude, but he's not. He's one of two in this movie. Well done.
There was
not Wolfgang Peterson.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. Wow. You had Louis Gossett Jr.
Yeah,
who's the other
he's in
guy?
there.
There was a dad in there.
And there's one of the generals or one of the army types. He was well done, especially for a '90s flick. You know, we've got more than one. Thank you so much for that '90s. And so yeah, how did he do? I thought he brought a lot to it. He was just fine.
He was a voice of reason. He's like, I am not doing this. I am not doing that. Okay, I'm doing it. But I'm not doing it. Okay, I'm going to do it. I mean,
so if we have to break for practical reasons,
he's definitely not the hero in the story.
He's not. But if you have to break it down into archetypes and like, oh yeah, I'm the jock, I'm the brain, I'm the goofball, this is like Goonies with a rated R, with an R rating. But so we've got we had Keith Coogan, whose job is to be a smoker, and we've got Sean Astin, whose job is to be the leader. And Will Wheaton, whose job is to
be the artist.
He forwards the plot by going ballistic, which again we're going to get to. But and then we've got George Perez, who's obviously the jock. That was his job, to be the jock.
I saw Saved by the Bell. Mario
I did.
Lopez.
Holy crap! The whole time I'm like,
I was like,
they couldn't get Mario Lopez, who's doing Saved by the Bell at the exact same time. I don't know if it's true, but I'm like, it had to have been because why does he look like Mario Lopez? He looks exactly like him.
Yeah, that's all that I saw throughout the whole movie. Which is another movie that I'm like, let's just replace the cast with Saved by the Bell, but we don't have any
It's so
girls
weird.
in
We
it.
keep going back to that. Maybe that's just '90s. Okay, you can just replace everyone with Zach, Mario, and fucking Tiffany Amber
Because
Thiessen.
it's the one time frame where you have the jocks hanging out with the nerds, hanging out with, it's the whole combination crowd.
So are they personality types or are they archetypes?
I say personality types.
You think? I think so too, because they're not as two-dimensional as just being, oh, I'm the jock, I'm the brain, I'm Saved by the Bell. I mean, they really kind of mix some of this stuff. I mean, Will Wheaton's doing Sean Astin's homework, for crying out loud.
Okay, I guess in the 80s and 90s it wasn't about let's make a movie with different like interracial groups. It was let's make a movie with multi-talented kids. Yeah, so where you throw in the jock with the nerd, where that doesn't happen in real life.
Yeah.
At all.
But you know what does happen in real life? You're gonna get characterized by your parents, which is what they do in this film.
Oh,
they
most
characterize
definitely.
the kids by virtue of their parents. And even Louis Gossett Jr. is like, yeah, I accepted the kid in my school. It's not his fault who his father is. Who's Will Wheaton, his father is the mafia boss.
Yes.
But did they go?
Who was the dad in? Oh shit.
Can you please give me a little bit of context with this guy?
Dirty Dancing.
I know
Dirty
he's not Criminal Minds. He's not CSI. He's Law and Order. He's Law.
Yes. It was
Law and
Order.
Order. Okay. Now, did anyone get a bead on his his aide, his assistant. I looked everywhere on the internet, but he looks so familiar, like he's in a Godfather
His
or
number
Casino
one bug, probably,
or Goodfellas.
Probably. Yeah, I don't know who.
He had to have been in there, but I could not place him. This one is a true call out to any listener that we might have. Please identify this guy and what Scorsese or Robert De Niro flick he's been in, please.
All right. Who are you talking about?
Will Wheaton's mafia dad.
Oh, gotcha.
His right-hand man.
When they had that little scene where it's like, hey, kids are kids, it's a phase, just forget about it, it's a stage, blah, blah, blah.
Mafia dad's friend?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I could not find him anywhere. All right, so I want to talk a little bit more about Andrew Divoff. Yeah. I do think he's phenomenal in this movie, and he's got this ease and a cadence with his performance in this movie, and it looked like he wanted to bring more to this film than what it could have been, which I did definitely mention before, which is just a bad guy making threats and killing people. He does show vulnerability, he shows class, he shows education, poise, and determination, and uses it really, really well. And I think in the end you sympathize with these bad guys as well. To an extent. You don't
to an extent.
You don't sympathize with the henchman, but you do sympathize with...
not the henchman at all.
It's not the pots and pans guy, right? Oh, pots and pans.
No.
Turn away from the kid who's got pots and pans. Bang.
What is pots and pans?
Pots and pans. Pots and pans?
Before you finish up the cast, don't forget Arlie, I think his last name is Erme.
No, who's that?
He was
the general.
He was the general. He had black hair. He was also the drill sergeant.
He's
in Full Metal Jacket.
He's Gunny. What's his name? Yeah, he's an actual drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, he was the main drill sergeant.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's definitely noteworthy right there. Another noteworthy character, before we move on to the blow by blow, is I forget his name, but he's the guy. He was leading the operations.
The FBI guy.
And yes, it was the FBI guy. He played in Son-in-Law. And
oh yes, he did.
Yeah,
yes, he did. He was the farmer dad.
Yeah. What was his? Damn it! What was his name? It is
Mason Adams.
Yep, Mason Adams.
He played Deputy Director Brown.
R.I.P. Mason Adams. Do you know how many people are dead in this movie as of right now?
Oh, like in real life?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
The kid who had the RC plane, he's dead.
Really?
He died like 10 years after this film. He's totally dead. He got in a car accident.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Way to bring it down, dude.
I do always kind of work in the whole, like, who's dead in this movie? So we open up on opening of any of these prep school movies in the 90s. A bunch of teenage boys are jogging.
Really? Is that how it opened up?
No, that is not. It opened up in Columbia.
I seem to recall the courthouse in Columbia.
Have you ever noticed I'm always jacking up at the beginning? You're like, Travis, it doesn't fucking open up this way.
Is that like when you started to pay attention? You're like, oh, that was just the credits.
Oh, these are just the credits. Fuck all that. So it does open up with them knocking a woman off of a ledge, getting splattered all over the steps.
Hang on. Pushed her out the window. This is where I had a couple issues. Pushed her out the window. She does this front flip kind of thing, but then next scene when she's splattered on the steps, she's now face first. Even though from her fall she was going down, she would have landed on her back.
Have the movies ever gotten that right? I mean, it's like how are we filming her falling, and how do we film them landing? I mean, even Lethal Weapon, they jacked that up.
Oh yeah.
In that beginning shot, it's like, this is the first shot. Who cares?
Or when the Colombian judge gets pushed out of the plane. all I was thinking the whole way through was, dude, obviously you have a parachute. Just pull the fucking string.
That parachute was front and center, wasn't it?
Pull the cord, dude. It's right there.
We can't get judges' robes, enough judges' robes to hide the fact that you've got a parachute on.
But again, if it were Michael Bay flick, you would not have seen it because you would have either green screened it or CG'd it out.
You don't need to show that shot. What you need to show is him getting pushed out of a helicopter, and then we get it. Mm-hmm. We totally get it. Really long shot of something falling. You could have had a dummy do that. You didn't have that shot. It's like...
They didn't show him splat. They just
No, but they dissolved to the school. It's like... That's a fucking parachute. That's
Yep.
all I could see.
Yeah,
Was a parachute.
he had a robe.
He could have worn a circus tent for all that matter.
Seriously,
I mean,
but that parachute that he had on was like blatantly in your face, obvious.
had a spotlight on it.
Either that
Should have
or
had
he
its own title
he had
credit.
a massive growth on his back
This film was brought to you by the judge's parachute.
or back growth.
Now, before we dive too much into this, we need to let you know: is this a chick flick? Is this a dude's action flick?
This is a dude's action flick.
No, that's not a love story at all.
No, there's absolutely no love story in this whatsoever.
Well, I guess it depends on how you want to look at it, because it was dude's crazy fucking love of his father that spurred the whole thing.
You're going to call it, that's a stretch, Mike.
And
Really?
then you have the father's
Really? It's
love
even
for
mentioned.
the
It's
son.
even mentioned in the
I
movie.
get it, but I ain't a chick flick.
Okay,
I
but
didn't say it was a chick flick. I just said there was a
love story?
kind of sort of.
When I hear love story, all I'm thinking...
Not romantic,
I am thinking romantic.
all right, okay, so
Jennifer was the biggest element of a love story in this movie.
so chick flick versus a total dude's flick.
It's a dude's flick.
It was as much of a chick flick as School Ties as a
Okay,
chick
but
flick.
there was more crying in this movie than there is in a traditional chick flick.
There was a lot of
There's
crying.
a lot of crying. But it's an R-rated movie.
Even from Andrew Divoff. I mean, there was crying.
Okay, I mean, it's pretty ballsy to take a movie going, we're not going to cast one single female in this entire... Wait.
Jennifer.
No,
The phone sex
The
lady.
phone sex lady.
no, in the courtroom scene with the mothers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
courtroom.
yeah,
The angry mom.
Yeah,
the
angry moms and all
Okay,
that.
so
yeah.
there's like 3 females on this set of 400 guys.
And one gets shoved out of a window.
Yeah,
So-
totally.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, no joke, right?
So it's but I'm trying to really, our listeners, if you're thinking that we're going into a shoot 'em up total dudes thing, like we've got Rambo going on here. No, there's emotion. You can feel it. It is not a total dudes film.
It's not a chick flick, but it's not a straight up hardcore dude flick.
It's not Rambo.
No, we're not just
No.
firing guns. It's there's reasoning.
I do take issue with people who dismiss Rambo as simple shoot 'em up and all that. Rambo 1 was a very, very script-driven movie. It was a very good script. And there was
thought so.
a lot of subtext, there was a lot of heart in there. Rambo 2 and all that, yeah, whatever. It is
First
what
one,
it is,
I actually, the acting in it wasn't all that great, but I really liked it because I thought it was an amazing story.
I did too.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
great story.
I think that sometimes we just lump Rambo
Right.
and shoot 'em up.
Yes.
movies.
Because I remember being a kid and people were being like, well, clearly you haven't seen Rambo because you're a girl. I mean, it was just along the lines of, this is a guy's movie, you back away. So this one, I think it's perfectly for guys, perfectly for girls.
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And maybe that's probably why they had all the guys sitting there hanging around in their underwear.
In their
all
underwear.
The whole fucking thing in this movie, man. It was
Maybe
just
that
like,
was their way of appealing. Because when you look at the trailer, they're in their underwear.
Dude, there is a lot of security in that room. in every single way that counts. There's a lot of security in that room. All right.
All right, I just wanted to establish that. Don't want to lose anybody with all the gun talk. So
So Divoff's father has been extradited to the U.S. Thank
Well, I
you.
guess he was extricated too.
To the U.S. and so basically his motivation is to capture the judge, and maybe that will help in some way. But the judge is like, he's already in the States, so he's like, shit. Now I got to go to the States and get him out.
I just thought the other funny part about the judge scene is they're up in the helicopter and the bad guy's like, come here. And the judge is like, okay, this is my part. I'm going to stand near the door. I saw you already push one lady out the window, but you want me to come here? There's no resistance. It's like, oh, let me look at the helicopter. Bam, down.
That is an
it
actor
goes.
being ordered to get into this really scary situation.
Yeah. So now that we've established
Hey,
that,
come here. I want to show you something. Ah!
don't worry, folks. He had a parachute.
Yeah, he's okay. They did not show the shot where they were strapping the parachute onto him. It's like, I'm going to push you out, but you have a parachute, you'll be fine. So, we do now get to the school.
Yes.
And we got to set up the characters, we got to set up the situation.
And we've got to set up the song that we're going to hear throughout the entire movie while they're running. Same song, same ballad.
This is common with original scores and composers not using popular music as a soundtrack. There's this. We've got 4 versions of this orchestral score, and we're going to play them in different ways to invoke different emotions to help tell the story. Everybody does it. Star Wars, Braveheart, they all. It's a very John Williams thing to do.
You've got your lighthearted, upbeat, kind of fun, rambunctious kind of sound. You feel kind of, I don't want to say uplifted, but you feel kind of good.
And it's the same melody.
It's opening up.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they amp it up a little bit more, and you're like, yeah.
With the bum 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 bum. So, and then they establish the fact that there's this ragtag group of bunch of kids that they're always getting into trouble. They're spray painting. Now, the first thing I thought when I saw the spray paint on the sign in the front of the school was, "Hey, look, Mike, they got that spray paint. They used some quality."
The same thing.
No, it's quality spray paint. They just did it right. No problem.
They didn't have to spray paint, for like 5-10 minutes.
That's right. They just got it done.
It just came right on there. It was like, ooh.
See, they're in this affluent. They're in this affluent part of the neighborhood.
They can afford the good shit.
That's right. That's right. They didn't go to that chintzy store that
I was thinking the same damn
Brotherhood
thing.
of Justice went to. Jesus.
I was thinking the same damn thing. They had the good shit.
So they go to they're set up in this room, and this room basically looks like an Applebee's. It's got a lot of shit on these walls, and boy, are we just showcasing every damn boyhood thing you would ever stick on walls, and there's not an inch to be left undone.
The half-naked woman.
Yep, you got a car, you got a half-naked woman, you've got a poster of some college that they want to go to. Blah,
you know
blah,
what?
blah.
I'm not going to lie. The only thing I remember seeing on the walls was that half-naked chick in the car. Honest to God, that's all I remember seeing on the wall. If there was other shit hanging there, I couldn't tell you.
So the judge's son. So now the kid, the whole motivation for the bad guy is the terrorist that is going to come take over school.
Yes,
he's gone.
Student number 93 is gone.
Yep, he's gone.
Yes.
So they're just that was the first problem this movie presents, is that the sole motivation for getting him. He's now gone. All right. So what is he going to do? This helps show how the bad guys are going to adapt to the situation. And we also established that Sean Astin's just a ragamuffin. He's just a punk, isn't he?
Yeah, but I was watching him as he's walking down the halls when they were collecting his mouthwash booze. All I could think was, I used to dress like that.
Yep. Did you have that muscle shirt?
I did.
I dressed more like not Mario Lopez. I dressed more like him. You had the rolled up short sleeve shirt.
Yeah,
with the Z
Cavariccis and your belt. Yeah, you were.
I looked like that guy.
Mario Lopez.
I wasn't as athletic as that guy, but yeah, I looked like him.
That's cool.
So what we do is we set up something that will prove useful later for the characterization and for the story, to move the story along. So we got Sean Astin and his friends. They sneak down in the basement of the school. They listen to a phone sex. Jennifer, we talked about Jennifer a couple times. Jennifer, she is billed in this movie as
she's actually in.
She's in the credits.
Credits.
Fucking Law and Order guy is not in the credits, but she is.
He wasn't?
No.
Oh wow.
He's uncredited.
No way.
Yeah, so weird. Anyway, she's in there, and they're like, he. So he gets in trouble, because our good friend Louis Gossett Jr., he finds them, and he says...
picks up the phone and listens to the phone sex.
Now, we missed a big part of this, Mike and I, because it was a lot of la 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 la, when she's talking about, we like... her la 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 dark nipples la 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 it was a very uncomfortable scene. I think it would have been uncomfortable if we didn't have our 14-year-old in the room.
Guys,
but it was still, how did you react to this?
I know what people did in high school, sat around all looking at a Playboy or all listening to a phone sex thing. What's the end goal here? Are you all going to rub one out together? I never got this whole thing. It's like participatory activity. Yeah, like getting together and doing porn together. I never understood that.
When I was in middle school, we did an acquaintance ended up snagging a couple porn videotapes. Yes, I said videotapes. And my parents used to work graveyard, so we're all sitting in the living room. It was me and like 4 or 5 other dudes, and they decided they wanted to watch Rear Busters. And
please do not go into detail.
We're sitting there, we're watching it, and I look over to the dudes that are in the room with me, and in my fucking living room, I look over and one dude kind of pulls a blanket off the back of the couch, and it was at that point where I excused myself. And
yes, because it's fucking uncomfortable.
I went for a walk.
Yeah, that's the thing. The end goes, especially a bunch of high schoolers, they're all going to be sitting around with raging boners. Is that the game plan? Everyone's like, yeah, pants just got a lot tighter in this room. I never understood that one. Maybe that's a jock thing.
Never got it. When they showed up at my house with the porn, I was like,
what are we going to do here?
I looked, honest to God, I looked at everybody and was like, are we seriously a bunch of dudes going to sit down and watch porn together?
And yet apparently it happens all the time.
There was the couple in high school, so me, you, and another couple that sat down to watch porn as well, and that was just as uncomfortable.
I was going to say, that was even awkward.
That was totally awkward. So
especially when the chick got the money shot and it was hanging from her tooth.
Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Don't watch porn in groups. It's wrong. All right.
I just don't understand why people did it. And they used to do it.
Unless you're looking for some group action, I mean, there's really no reason why you would do that. None.
Yeah, unless the end game, like you said, is
group.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
All right,
moving on.
So it's a boys' school.
So the purpose of the scene, I think this movie did a very good job of establishing every single scene had a purpose to move the story forward. It's nothing superfluous.
Oh, most definitely.
Because
so
the purpose of the scene
is
to show the alcohol. And to show his electronic
Sean Astin's
skills.
aptitude with electronics.
Boom, right there. Yep.
Those 2 points. And to show that the dean is not an idiot and...
He's not he totally is like, what the fuck are you talking about? I got your number on everything.
It's right up there with one of our kids. I'm not going to name names. I can't do my algebra homework because I left my book in my locker.
Jesus,
and
man. Kids really do think adults do.
What does Lisa do? She goes, I'll be right back.
2 seconds.
I swear to God.
Flat.
Okay, it was like 30 seconds because you had to walk.
I had to walk across the house. All right.
But she comes back and lo and behold, there's that algebra book.
Don't hide your shit under your bed.
Because we're not fucking stupid, okay? God.
Especially your porn. We will find it.
Because kids are dumb.
You might find it later in the adults' room if you go snooping, but
it's not their fault. It's not their fault. They've only been on the earth for 15, 16 years. We've been on the earth twice as long. We know every single one of these tricks.
And we attempted the same shit.
And we did the same thing.
That's right where I found my dad's porn, but let me tell you, lifting up the side of a waterbed, it wasn't an easy task.
Kids, if you're listening, and you probably shouldn't because this is rated explicit, but if you're listening, look, if you think you're getting one over your parents, you're not. They're probably letting you, okay? Don't even worry.
My number one phrase is, I'm not new. I'm not new. Do you really think I'm new? I have done everything you've done.
and more. Then some. Okay. All right, so he gets busted. He has to start getting the mouthwash from all the other people. And then right after that, and I'm like, this is a little ballsy on their part. Right after that, he's so embarrassed, he's so humiliated that he wants to get back at the dean. So what does he do? One of the more clever pranks, I think, because he even makes a mention. It's like, we don't want to do fire hoses. We don't want to do cherry bombs.
Yeah, we don't want to do something that causes
destructive
damage.
He says it needs to be elegant. It needs to be elegant. Yes. I love that about this movie. It's like, hey, well done you. I've mentioned this many times before on this podcast. I've been to 5 different high schools. Now, some senior pranks, they were just destructive, and the other ones were elegant. So what they do is they take the headmaster's stuff. It's not even Louis Gossett Jr. stuff. They take the headmaster's office and put it out in the quad at exactly as...
Okay, that was perfect.
As Denholm Elliott's office was set up.
Okay, and I really, really did appreciate the way they did the scene because in real life, I don't care if it was done to you or to someone else, the shit was funny. It really was.
And I think they did a good job in the movie kind of showing that.
He walks up to Denholm Elliott, Dean to the headmaster, and the headmaster tells him, don't laugh.
Don't laugh. Whatever you do, don't
Try
laugh.
not to laugh.
I love it. Yeah.
And the dean, Louis Gossett Jr. I'm trying. I'm trying.
So that's good. So people have to be punished, and when he's picking out the boys, they're just like, "Who, me? Love it." This scene is great. It's like, yeah, we're gonna get in trouble for it, but big deal. And it's not destructive, and they're gonna put everything back, and nothing was hurt. It was fine. And but that was done to establish that he knows how to get into the headmaster's office.
He knows how to get around the school.
That was the purpose of that scene.
He knows his way around the building.
Good script making. Good script making. All right.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. What's next here?
All right, so right after they did that, they ended up in the cafeteria, I believe.
Yeah, this is the point where the terrorists come in. Yeah.
They come in. It's pretty easy takeover. I mean, we're talking about one lame security guard.
Oh my God, really? He's got a dude in the fucking milk truck pointing a gun at him. So then he totally Barney Fifes it, goes for his gun. And that's all.
This guy is pretty much pointing a gun. He says, "We don't want to hurt you. Just get in the truck." And so he's going to go. We've all seen a Western. We know how this works. And so I did notice that when I first saw the security guard, I'm like, "Oh, he's dead." Like the second I saw him, I'm like, "He's dead meat."
He tried. Okay, I don't know if he was trying.
He had dead meat all over him.
That was just his resting bitch face. But he just had the most stern look on his face. Even when the kids were razzing him earlier when they stole his baton, he just had the sternest look on his face. And then went from that to Barney Fife, then dead.
Do you know who's not dead in this movie? People who related to the kids. No, but the security guard's like, "Hey, you took my baton. Hey, you're very funny. Blah, 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 blah. I'm a security guard." Yep, you're dead. I'm sorry.
Pretty much.
So now it's taken over, and he pretty much does the head count, lays down the rules, and then we put all of the kids into their own rooms. That's how all the boys end up together with 2 additional freshmen, Yogurt and some other kid.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever referenced by name.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Oh wait, no.
Generic blonde boy, number 2.
When the main group referred to the one kid who apparently is now dead in real life, the Yogurt kid, when they referenced or called him out as Yogurt, he goes, "My name is actually," and I couldn't tell you what his name was.
They call him Yogurt throughout the whole movie.
He also pointed out his buddy's name. So his name was mentioned once. Could have been Jesus for all I know. I didn't catch it.
And this is the first in a long series of scenes where they're hanging out in their underwear, and
oh my God, yeah,
man, I can tell you which way they were hanging, man. I mean, I was just like,
wow, you guys actually.
God, it's hard to miss.
Really...
I didn't pay. I noticed they were in their underwear, but then I just stared at the faces. I think it was Yogurt. Whose face was right
you did
there,
see that. You
right
did see
there
that.
in Will Wheaton's junk. I was like, oh my God,
hilarious
really?
Because this is a first in a lot of like, I'm going to fight you, but people are holding me back. And so Coogan's not really sure what to do. He's got his fists up, which is hilarious. And then Yogurt is crouching down trying to be in the shot, and his face,
his face is right there.
It had to have been 5 inches away from just all the glory. It was hilarious.
It was one of those sniff shots.
Yeah, you're like, all I could think is the actor's like, how long is this take? Because I gotta sit here and stare at everybody's.
I smell your balls.
I just wonder, Sean Astin's the only one who wears boxers.
Yeah, you know what? I think Sean asked me like, I'm not.
Not everyone was in their underwear.
The 2 kids. The 2 freshmen.
No, I know they weren't all in their underwear.
Not George Perez. T.E. Russell.
Yeah.
The black kid.
He wasn't in his tighty-whities?
He was in...
Coogan was in his tighty-whities, and not Mario Lopez. He was in his tighty-whities.
He was in his tighties.
God, we keep calling him... Are we going to keep calling him that? This poor actual real guy, Perez.
George Perez.
Oh, his career went down to shit. He doesn't care.
He did other movies.
Kinda, yeah.
Underwear.
Underwear.
There was a lot of testosterone in those scenes.
Oh, yeah.
No, they weren't whipping each other with a towel.
No,
there's none of that action.
Okay, so this really is just, I think we mentioned this before. This is really just Goonies of teenage years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, had the exact same pace.
shit just went wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, okay, so Mikey had to move from the Boondocks because it's a golf course now.
The Goondocks? Not the Boondocks, that's a different movie. It was the Goondocks.
The Goondocks, yeah, because it's a golf course now. And Will Wheaton didn't get into Starfleet Academy on the first try, so he had to go to this school
So they
first.
went to prep school.
Right. And so Keith Coogan was so traumatized by his misadventures in babysitting that he couldn't function in a normal school. Okay, and the Air Force finally had enough of Louis Gossett Jr.'s shenanigans, so they kicked him out. He had to become the dean of a high school level prep school. So Marcus Brody gets an offer he just couldn't refuse, and plus, he's getting up in the years, and he's tired of Indiana Jones getting him in all kinds of trouble, life and death
You
situations.
put a lot of effort into this, didn't you?
It's like, wait, what's going on right now? How can we move all these movies and these characters? Because these are just the same damn characters, you know?
To a degree, yeah.
I think they did good in their own right, but I mean, Louis Gossett Jr. is very known for one movie. Marcus Brody, or... he's Marcus
Denholm
Brody.
Elliott, yes, he's Marcus Brody.
Denholm Elliott is Marcus Brody. And he's in a school. What do you want? You got to transfer. So they all share the same universe. All right. So I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, okay? But in so many movies, and I think they still do it today, if somebody smokes on screen, they've got to make some kind of negative comment about it.
oh yeah,
always.
you know that shit's
Always.
gonna kill you, right? Hey, you're gonna die. Hey, you've got asthma. This is your
Or
public
they'll
service
take a puff
announcement right
and
here.
they'll start coughing or
Yes.
something. Something negative about it. I think
Or they just tell you, you really shouldn't smoke.
they get a $50,000 rebate from the American Lung Association.
Well,
I think it helps fund their movie when they do that.
I honestly don't think that it helps to fund the movie so much as it's a, hey, we're not promoting smoking.
You're making an R-rated movie. What do you care about the being socially righteous?
It's lawsuits.
You think so? They're saying
yeah.
that to get the parents off their
Okay,
back?
Okay, no,
Marlboro
no,
got
this-
sued for the Marlboro Man.
That's bullshit.
This
Marlboro
was,
got sued for the Marlboro Man. Camel got sued for having the cartoony camel because it was
but the time
promoting
that this
smoking
movie
children.
came out, we were totally fine with Marlboro Man and Camel
Oh,
Boy.
totally.
We were totally fine.
Yeah, we still had all that. It was just fine. I think
I'm
they
gonna have to look into that.
because they're not being philanthropic
No,
here.
we were in high school. We were in high school when the whole camel thing stopped, and we were like
Really?
junior, senior year in high school.
Yeah, totally. I think the movie actually gets funded by certain agencies. I don't know this for
Really?
sure, but I guess we could look it up. But I think they get a rebate because oh my God, they shoehorn that shit
Well,
in
they're not
all
doing
the
whole
time.
Kids should not have guns or throw grenades. I mean, they didn't make that.
Yeah, they didn't
public
worry
service
about that.
announcement
If you want to talk about
As
lawsuits.
Sean Astin's jumping up onto the table and he's waving the gun around.
Jesus, yeah. It's like, whoa,
Or
man.
Will Wheaton's character, when he comes out and she starts laughing.
Oh my God.
Lisa's laughing. I'm
Wesley
like,
Crusher has
I'm like,
lost it.
Lisa.
Do you know
he's
why I
gonna
laughed
die.
my ass off in the scene? Let me back this up, and I feel horrible after what happened.
Lisa had never seen this movie before.
You've never seen this
No,
before?
no, I hadn't.
Oh, awesome.
Because I just assumed it was not a chick flick, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, he comes out with a machine gun, and we are jumping ahead. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no,
folks.
we'll get back to it.
But he comes out and he's shooting like this thing
It's
is
going
taking
everywhere.
over, which is cool because clearly he's never, he is not the mafia guy that his dad is.
See, I really appreciated the scene for that. Yes, I thought it was funny as well.
So this gun takes control and he can't control it. The look on Sean Astin's face, if they did it in slow motion, I mean, it looked like it was in slow motion where he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Lost.
So it was
mind.
It was Sean Astin's character that I was just cracking up over, and then it ends up being like serious, like Will Wheaton's character dies. So that sucked, but man, I cracked
On that
up.
scene too, Coogan had nothing to do.
right.
Like he's in the background just being
Let's
like,
hang
"The
on.
fuck?"
Hang on. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. I just don't want to go over it twice
That's okay.
because I have some shit to say on that too.
I also think the movie did a good job with establishing realistic dialogue with the kids.
Oh, most definitely.
You can really screw this shit up. Steven Spielberg usually does the best job at it. Also, what's his name? He did
Michael Bay.
No, fuck that guy. Who's the guy who directed Goonies?
I thought that was a Spielberg.
No, it was Spielberg produced it, but it was directed by
Richard Donner.
Richard Donner, yeah, and he worked very well with the kids. I don't know if Richard Donner ever worked with kids after that, but that's a good, solid script, and the dialogue just flowed, and I think they did a good job dealing with that.
You know what else I didn't know? Sorry, real quick side note. You've been mentioning Steven Spielberg a lot because I realize you've got this
hard on
thing. Okay, hard on is.
I got a hard on right now with Steven Spielberg.
You know who else was involved with Lethal Weapon? Steven Spielberg.
Did he produce that?
No, he did the story.
God, that makes so much more sense.
It really does.
Lethal Weapon is a good
and Richard Donner. Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, nice.
It's a damn shame Mel Gibson turned out to be a crazy batshit motherfucker, but
you know what? That's not
great actor, great story, great director. So let's get back to Toy Soldiers.
Yeah. So
okay, do we ever pick up in the scene where they're in the cafeteria? All of a sudden, the terrorists come in, and it is perfect organ. I mean, nowadays, if somebody hears gunshots in a school, shit's going down. Where everybody is like,
no, I was actually wondering about that.
Is someone letting out firecrackers?
I was really wondering about that because everybody just kind of stopped and looked. Like,
Well, they're a bunch of privileged kids. This is a totally different world.
But they're impervious. They're impervious to the
even the Mafia kid isn't familiar with gunshots. I mean, come on now.
No, I don't think he's been around a relationship with his father.
His friends got it. He busted up his friend for making that assumption. Coogan. Coogan's like,
okay.
He's like, he's got a fucking machine gun. He's like, oh yeah, I guess guns really running the Mafia.
Okay, I'm not big on derogatory comments about any person in particular because of race, creed, color, fuck all that nonsense. But I did appreciate when Coogan's character says, "Dude, you're my friend. I could call you a wop if I wanted to," and. I was like, oh my god, they're really gonna let this shit fly.
No, it's absolute. That makes sense. I've said shit like that.
Will Wheaton's character comes back, after they've done their half naked, tighty-whitey wearing kind of thing. He goes, yeah, but dude, just don't call me Whopper.
Just don't call me that.
Call me an asshole.
Call me an asshole.
Call me a dickhead. Yeah. Just not that.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
I've actually had that conversation before with past friends. Yeah.
Call me whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But leave that shit out.
He's like, "What's your problem? I'm your friend. I can call you whatever."
Yeah. So this movie touched on 2 points as public service announcements. It was hey dumbass, don't be racist. Don't assume that just because my father does this that I'm this, and don't smoke.
Oh, but the guy makes a huge leap that the dude speaks Spanish. Huge fucking leap.
That really, okay, yeah. I
was
did have a problem with that.
You just assumed that?
I did have a problem with it because he was brown-skinned.
Totally.
He speaks the Spanish. Really? Really?
Yeah. I'm like, you've been pretty intuitive up until this point, but you're just going to make that leap?
Yeah.
That this guy speaks Spanish? I'm like, come on. Don't be a dick.
I like that he denied that he spoke Spanish, and then it was, shit.
Oh, man, I got caught.
Don't put a bullet in my head, please.
Please don't shoot me, sir.
I'm stuck.
I'm brown skinned. Clearly, I speak fluent Spanish.
We both speak Spanish. You know how it goes. You don't just volunteer that stuff all the time. Did you guys happen to notice something else? And this is why I thought this was a goddamn Wolfgang Peterson film. Movies like Air Force One, Das Boot, and all that, Patriot Games, all that, they handle subtitles in their own way. Okay, not Patriot Games, but Hunt for Red October. Do you know what they did in Hunt for Red October? They spoke Russian for a little bit, and then very purposefully transitioned it into everybody speaking English.
Everybody spoke English.
That's right. That's God damn it. That's awesome.
Hang on. You mentioned the subtitles. In every movie, in every scene, the subtitles aren't entirely necessary.
Thank you. That's right. They're not. You're making statements. You're making one sentence. You don't need fucking
clear.
Thank you.
I don't care. If it's a one-liner. Sometimes the one-liner you got to have subtitles for because the sarcasm on their face or whatever might be projecting something or could possibly project something different.
Bang! Right on the head.
You don't have to have the subtitles for every fucking line.
That annoys
You know what annoys me is when they have
inferred.
subtitles for a person who's speaking English. They just have an accent. It's like I can
Could
understand
you knock it
them.
off with that shit? No, but this was so good. In fact, I think there was only one subtitle from the time they got to the school, and that was put a bullet in his heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Damn it! And they're speaking Spanish throughout the whole fucking movie.
Yep,
Perfect. That's how you do that.
Great.
Oh man, that's great.
All right, so they're in the cafeteria, and this is where I did have again. I don't know if maybe it's because it's a new era here, a new day and age, where gunshots. You hear, there's a distinct, Lisa, you and I have definitely been in situations where we've been very, very, probably way too close to gunfire, but we have been in those situations. There's a very distinct difference between a fucking firecracker and a gun going off. Oh my God. But everybody just kind of stopped and looked around. Huh?
Okay.
What is this?
Okay. I got some experience with this. When I was going to the last school before I graduated, we had mentioned it was an inner city school, and somebody had actually let off a black cat in the hallway. Every single person in that hallway hit the deck except me. I was new white guy at the school, and I was the only one standing.
Our first day of school, somebody had pipe bombs, and we were locked in the cafeteria.
What the hell school was this?
The school we graduated from. Our very first day. Travis and my very first day of school.
I was like, I don't remember
before you came. Yeah. That was, do you know that was day one?
I did not know. I did not know that even happened.
Where were you? I come home and I'm like, so we were on lockdown because somebody had a pipe bomb.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
So apparently these problems have always been there, but
problems have always been there. That's why I don't get this scene.
Just to kind of speak to you guys, like them being confused about maybe firecrackers in the hallway. It's like, you know what? That happened with me, and I was the only one standing going because I'd never been around that stuff. So I'm like, all right, whatever. It's just a loud noise.
I was honest to God a stone throws distance from the kid that got shot and killed nearby the school, because we were ditching class, and I was hanging out. I didn't smoke, but I hung out with the stoners all the time because I fit in with that group really well. Yeah. So, but yeah, the kid that got shot, all of a sudden it was, oh my God, that was gunfire. There wasn't was that a firecracker? Somebody lighting black cats
I totally thought, and maybe it was just my naivete, but yeah. You've said I lived in a bubble. What do you want? So the main baddie here, he's got all the files on all these parents, okay, and that's what he's using to establish his foothold. It's like, I've got something. I've got you guys over a barrel because these kids are kids of very influential people in government and power and all this shit, right?
They quickly sifted through 91 different files and pulled out the exact...
93.
92.
Would the parents' occupations
Oh, yeah, one died. Sorry, 93.
Oh, no. You had Phil Donahue.
Yes. Oh.
We always forget Phil Donahue.
No, I'm not. They shipped him up.
There was 93.
92.
There was 93, and then Phil Donahue left. Then you were down to 92.
Okay, so they have all these files, and they instantly sifted through and got the one group of friends.
Yeah, but I'm not buying the whole parents' credentials on a file routine. I'm not buying that at all. I buy that. I think they're going to be listed by occupation, maybe, but no file is going to say, quote unquote, third largest construction
company in the world.
What kind of second-rate egomaniac do you have to be to put that on an admittance form? It's like, what's your occupation? Oh, third biggest construction firm.
No, if you're trying to get a child into a private school, you are going to boast the hell out of yourself, so that you've got.
Is that going to be in the file? Though?
You signing the check is enough. You don't need to have on that file.
They're gonna.
The third largest construction
don't you have to be a pedigree to be in a school like this? I mean,
well, these are the rejects. So these are.
Yeah. So what the fuck do they care?
Some kids were there on scholarship.
You got money? Great, come on in.
Some kids were there on scholarship. Mm-hmm. 2 of the parents mentioned that.
Yes.
But no, you're not going to have. Okay, they might say, "Well, don't you know who I am? I run the third largest construction company in the world."
Oh, really?
Not just the country. Did you hear what I said? The world. They might say it, but they're not going to have it on the
entire planet.
But he was still nice and humble, and he's like,
and next year, he's a contractor. Moving to the moon.
He's a contractor.
My dad's Elon Musk.
No, that was a great step forward scene, because you had the kids who sheepishly stepped forward, and then there were, like, Will Wheaton step forward, like, You want to fucking say something? Really? I don't give a crap about my dad.
That's right. He did kind of push that, shove that kid aside. It's like, come on, bitches, bring it. Let's go.
And yet the other one who was going to wet his pants, like stepping forward.
Coogan.
Yeah.
Coogan.
Yeah. And he ran.
Yeah.
He ran back into the crowd.
It's so good on characterization.
He didn't stay up front. No, his ass ran back behind even the little kids. He's like, fuck you, I'm hiding, I'm out.
Hey, I'm going to step behind this human shield. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe that out of 92 students there present, that only their group had parents of power. But that's okay.
It wouldn't, it would have worked still, but it just made it better, I guess, that all 5 of the kids... I think it was 5, just so happened to have the most influential parents of everyone in the joint.
Well, I guess it reads better than, so it says here, your father is the 10th most successful lawyer in this state alone.
You're here on scholarship. I can get so much shit from you.
I'm going to use you as dog food. Oh my God, he's going to know I'm scholarship.
When shit hits the fan, I'm duct taping you to me.
I'm strapping your ass to the bomb. That's awesome. Okay. So this plan the boys concoct deals with simply getting the information to the outside world. This is so much better than so many movies where the kids take over the world. I'm going to learn how to operate a submarine or I'm going to operate a space shuttle, which I'm not saying I don't like Space Camp.
Space Camp was fantastic.
Space Camp.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Stay tuned if there ever was one. But
I mean, no, instead of all of a sudden everybody knowing how to, okay, it might sound simplistic, but if you've never used a grenade before, you might not know. Hold it, make sure the pin is, also held tight against the grenade. Then you pull the pin, then you throw. So when you throw, the pin releases.
No child threw a grenade in this film.
No, but that's what I'm
That's what this movie was missing.
Grenades were thrown in this film by a child.
Instead of them immediately jumping into all of these kids knowing how to use heavy artillery.
Will Wheaton even brings it up. He's like, he's got a fucking machine gun. And they're like, yeah. So I say we take it and we take over this school. And they're like, that's a stupid plan.
The best quote in this movie, which I am shocked is not on the internet. And to me, it was the best quote in the movie. And I
love this quote.
Butcher it.
Strap in. What do you got?
Go for
butcher it. They said, for a bunch of underachievers.
No, he said that's an awful lot for a bunch of underachievers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
They didn't just jump in.
And I laughed my ass off. I was like, that is the quote of the movie. This is a lot to take on for a bunch of underachievers.
That was it. That's a lot to take on for a bunch of underachievers. Again, I can't stress this enough. It was fantastic. They didn't just throw all these kids in there, and all of a sudden everybody knows how. And even
thank God they didn't throw on the Rambo. Do you know how many movies they're like, we're gonna go be badasses, and they put on the camouflage Rambo headbands and they rip the sleeves off their jackets, and all of a sudden they're
Shut up with that.
All of a sudden they're badasses.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because that is exactly what Iron Eagle is.
Well,
I mean, that is exactly what that is.
And that's what I'm making fun of. So,
but no, they went at it logically. Let's do some recon.
All we're doing is recon. We're just going to get information, and then you guys go ahead and save us. Okay, that's all we're doing.
I just want to get the information out there. This is what's going on. It wasn't a Rambo scene, and yes, I did really like the first Rambo. After that, not so much. But the original, I thought was great. But they didn't just immediately jump into the Rambo-esque kind of mentality where everybody knows how to use a fucking machine gun.
Thank you. Will Wheaton goes and gets that gun from that guy, comes out, he's got a clear shot at a gun, and you know what?
I told you
operating a fully automatic machine gun is hard. Okay? All of a sudden he's like, oh my God, I can't get this thing.
It was going up in the air. It was going this way. It was going that. Did he hit what he was wanting to hit?
Not at all.
No. He could have hit his friends.
The cartel guy was in there. What the fuck is this?
What are you shooting at?
Boom, 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 boom. Down goes his target.
Yeah.
And Will Wheaton just firing everywhere but The intended
But
target.
that is a very good point. All they're doing is getting the information out, and that is their sole plan. That's all them gathering all the information.
This isn't the kids saying we can take over the world. This is we need the adults. And here is
Seriously.
Thank
here's
you.
the intel
Yes.
from the inside, and here you go. And when Sean Astin's character ran, and he everything was calculated, and he got to them, and it was like he hands it off like, here you go. Yes, and then he goes to turn back and he can't. They're like, we can't let you go.
And then that's the only thing that they were like, and you know what? That didn't play into their strategy. It's like,
No.
wait a minute, are they just going to let me, I'm going to hand over this thing, are they going to let me go? No, because that's how adults think. Kids think, no, I'm going to give it to them, they're going to say, thank you so much, sir, you've done your duty, and then I'm going to haul ass back. No, that didn't work out, but that's what a good script does. It
was
takes you in a
plausible.
direction.
Okay, you say that's
believable.
what a good script does. Now, the President of the United States has given the approval to go ahead. Let's go ahead and treat this like it is a matter of the United States.
They were going
And
to make.
they
Were
said,
going to
no,
make an
no,
assault
no.
on the school.
We're gonna let the kids do this.
One person said, the military leader said, look, this is a viable operation. And then the guy's like, well, can you guarantee no casualties? It's like, well, no, of course not. And he's like, nope, so we're going to go with the negotiation.
But no, the dean, the dean of the school said, no, this kid can do it. And they're
they
like,
count out to
oh,
the
you're a
dean
dean
of
of a
the
school?
school.
You override the president of the United
Thank you.
States.
Okay, that brings me to my very next statement here. Why is Louis Gossett Jr. allowed to hang out in the command center? He's a dean of the school. I mean,
But
I
he
can
knows-
understand acting as an advisor
For
to
intel.
the students, all that.
For intel, and this is where I did have another major problem.
He's calling the shots in the movie. Why is that okay? He's drawing on the command center table.
He was
I'd be
there.
like, get the
He
fuck
was there
off.
for
You don't know
intel.
what this is for.
He was there for intel because he knows the school better than they do. That makes sense. I had no problem with that.
He's
No,
having
but they
coffee
should have been
in the
like,
tent.
sit down and shut the fuck up until we have a question.
until
for
we
you."
have a question.
Yeah.
Shut up.
He knows the school. They don't.
But yeah, Louis Gossett Jr. is totally drawn all over the board. I'd be like, you're overstepping your bounds here, buddy.
Yeah, completely. But that's okay. But now, this was the only area of the movie where I'm like, bullshit. You do not get an order from the president and you say, no. We're going to have the kid do it. Like, I got faith in this kid. No.
And that was kind of a good part in the scene where Louis Gossett Jr. is sitting there, and they're like, "How many schools has this guy been kicked out of? 2?" And Louis Gossett Jr. is like, "Well,
No,
3."
3. It's been
It's
3.
like I have faith in the kid. I'm not asking you to have faith in the kid. I think he's got potential, but there's a big difference between potential and fucking this whole thing up.
Yeah, let's just back this up to the fact that the dean didn't even want to expel him. He's like, I'm not going to give you that true pleasure of being expelled because you don't give a shit. I'm going to make you work. You're going to stay.
I did like
he
that.
believed in
I
him.
did like
it was,
that.
I mean, he's
it wasn't that he
start.
believed in him. It wasn't that he believed in him. He's like, okay,
He
clearly,
wasn't willing to give up on him.
clearly this hasn't worked for you before. Expelling you is not doing you a damn bit of good. So you know what? I'm gonna do you one better. Your punishment is you have to stay. I'm not gonna kick you out.
Thank goodness
you will
he
stay.
didn't kick him out because
No kidding, because they'd have been fucked if he wasn't there.
they would have been fucked. Yes.
I think I got another tie-in to this movie, shared universe situation with Casino. Yeah, Casino and I can do Casino and Goodfellas.
You can't bring in Casino because if it had been like a casino thing, you'd have had Joe Pesci jump in, and the terrorists would have been done.
That's what I'm about to say.
The cartel would have been dead if Joe Pesci would have been there.
Wesley Crusher, he grabs a machine gun and tries to kill, and gets killed in the process, right? So this is where Andrew Divoff starts to shit his pants, okay? So this is where this comes to play. That's where Ray Liotta gets a phone call and calls Robert De Niro, who calls Joe Pesci, who's going to have words with a certain Andrew Divoff about how things work in Vegas. See, this is all shared universe.
If Joe
Goonies,
Pesci would have been
this
there,
movie,
dude, it would have been a very short movie.
Oh, Joe Pesci would have just walked right in, 50 caliber machine gun notwithstanding, and he'd have been like, he dug in his pants and goes, bang! And the guy would be like, pfft, gone. And
Did
then
I
he
say
walks
something
up
funny
to
you?
him.
Did I say something funny?
Am I like a clown? Am I here to amuse you? And he just walked in and said, we're just going to have a conversation about this, right?
Joe Pesci's fucking awesome.
God damn it, yeah. He's a scary little man. Talk about personality winning over stature. Mm-hmm. Holy shit. That look he gives he gives like so many looks, but that look where he's like in Casino, where he's like, don't fuck up in here. Don't fuck up in here. Robert De Niro's kind of pushing past him. He gives him that look. Like, I'm not going to just kill you. I'm going to tear your balls out through your throat.
He is a truly frightening, diminutive little fucker.
You make me pop your eyeball out.
Okay, back to Toy Soul Strippers.
People are changing the channel. Watch another movie at this
What are you talking about? We're talking about Casino, man. Casino and Goodfellas. Shit. Okay, so this is where.
Wait. Oh. We gotta address the fact that Sean Astin, like, delivers the stuff. He gets away and he's running back through the tunnel and falls in the water. That's
he gets up and shit.
Do you know, as soon as he said
wet.
shit, and I forget that scene every single time I watch the movie that happens, but as soon as he falls in, he's like, shit. And as an audience member, you're like, how the fuck is he going to explain that?
Right. And see, I was in my head, because I had not seen this movie until this, I was thinking, okay, here's how it could play out. His buddies could have pranked him, and now he's just left wet in his underwear, like, God damn it, boys, you pranked me, and where are my pants? Where are my clothes? This is ridiculous.
Don't you think he gets away with that a little bit too easy? Everybody's supposed to be...
He gets whipped in the back.
No, I'm not saying that, which is better than getting shot and his five of his friends shot.
So as he's running with the towel, because now he was smart enough to strip off his clothes. Granted, he smells like sewer water.
Yeah, he smells
He
like...
doesn't smell like a nice, clean, minty fresh shower.
It's not sewer water. It's a fucking ditch.
I'm sure that it
but
smells
that's
like
pretty rank.
Okay,
Yeah.
no,
metal pipes.
We're talking upper east.
Backwoods redneck. We played in ditches often.
In the
There's
quad?
a big difference
Often.
in smell between dirty, murky water and a clean shower with Irish Spring.
Oh,
I think he
very
just
true,
gets
very
away with it a
true.
little bit too eeasy. He's like, I'm sorry I was in the shower. What are you talking about? Taking a shower in the middle of a fucking
smell
day?
like pond water. We did smell like pond water when we came back, or creek water. But no, we played in oversized ditches all the damn time.
But I thought it was great. And then he's running with the socks, and I'm like, shit, your socks.
Take your goddamn socks off.
And he does.
And why do you leave him in the hallway? Like, that's not going to be found?
Well, they're
what was he
cartel
supposed to
people.
do?
They're idiots.
They've been so
They're
good with the
henchmen.
details.
They're henchmen. They're idiots.
No.
Oh, wait, I'm an henchman.
But it was great.
Yeah.
And I was really, really happy with it.
Okay.
He had the towel to break the glass. Bam, there's the towel that's needed. Everything in this
towel to
movie
prop up the
was
window.
so perfectly set up.
It was.
But
It was
wasn't
good.
obviously set up, but it was so perfectly set up.
But it is dismissed pretty readily. He's like, I was in the shower. And he's like, his hair is, in fact,
Divoff
wet.
comes up. His hair's wet.
His hair's wet. That proves it. He was in the shower.
But he still gets a beating. I'm glad that he didn't just get let off with, he was in the shower.
Yeah, he did beat the shit out of
he
him.
still got it, yeah.
Okay, but speaking of dumbass henchmen, okay, would they have picked up on wet socks in the hallway? Probably not. But
Wet footprints, running.
it really did take.
Why are you taking a shower in
He
your
was
socks?
he was like hella wet for a good long time. Yeah, it doesn't take that long to dry off, especially if your ass is running.
Yeah.
Naked.
And they guided all the children outside directly from
He
the
was still
cafeteria
soaking
to
fucking wet.
outside, but whatever.
Okay, dumbass henchman. When what was his name? Bobby or Billy? Sean Astin's character.
Billy. Yeah.
Billy. He hawks loogies into their sandwiches, which was
so
it
gross.
was so gross.
And you can audibly hear
Yeah,
squish.
squish.
They really did amp up the sound for dude taking a bite out of the sandwich. It made it so juicy sounding when he bit
Gross.
into it.
Yeah, that was kind of gross.
So
Right after
Yes.
Wesley Crusher gets blown away, this is where Sean Astin starts to lose heart. And they're waiting for the signal from the outside world to say, we're going to commence with this operation. And they're supposed to respond. So Sean Astin's like, you know what, we're not fucking doing this. Because he's too distraught.
Which you guys left this out or forgot about it. I don't know when we were talking about this earlier. T.E. Russell's character, the black kid, he basically said "fuck you," picked up the mirror and responded.
Yeah.
And then after that, when Sean Astin's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Got all pissed off and goes at him. He was.
This is where the freshmen get.
He wasn't like a voice of reason or whatever. But this was the reason for his character. Because he had to get the main character, Sean Astin, to believe in himself again.
Yeah, which is in every movie, but I think they do it a lot better because he says, he acknowledges the trope in every single other movie where he's like, if you say we have to do this for Wesley Crusher, I'm going to fucking puke.
I'm going to fucking puke.
Which I thought was a great line. It was a great line.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. Anyway, so they're like, okay, the plan's back on. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the new plan. The new plan is that the outside world's going to go ahead and they're going to go ahead and storm the building, but the people inside have to do a couple of things. They've got to disarm. This is where we're going to go ahead and the kids can now take over the world stuff.
It wasn't the kids have to disarm. They were hoping that the kids would, or this little band of brothers,
Yes.
would get the students to
Into the basement.
to this bunker,
Yeah.
/ abandoned.
That's
building,
their
basement
main
kind of
priority, but how are you going to do that? You have to take out a couple people, right?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, take out a couple people.
So
which,
we do kind of get into this little trap of kids have to take over people with machine guns.
it was believable.
So this really does
It was
lead up. There's
believable.
two main points to this plan. One is that they're going to go ahead and switch the chips between the two receivers, between the electronic airplane and the remote control receiver that activates the bomb.
Yeah. Oh
Yes.
my God, I'm so glad that it was a blue chip and a red chip, and
it wasn't a red chip.
right.
Yeah,
it wasn't
well,
like
it should
be. It should be.
It's like I don't fucking know. It's they all look the same. They're standard. I'm telling you. You know?
Yeah, I was so glad
That
they
was
wasn't
good.
like,
I really
look,
liked
it's
that
the
they actually
same.
brought it to the little vent cover thing so that
Yeah.
the kid up in the
Yeah, but-
ventilation could look down on
Yeah,
it
but
instead
why-
of just calling it out from across the room.
Why did he have to put the chip back into the plane? That plane doesn't need to work.
He didn't have to.
No, he didn't have
but
to.
It
Do you know how
made-
much time he spent taking the
But
casing
again-
off of the plane?
Again,
He
Well,
didn't
no
have to do
matter
that.
what, the casing was off the plane because
It's
he had,
for
to
the
take
joke.
he had to take the chip out of the plane.
It was
so
there
no
for a
matter
reason.
what,
It was there
plane
for a
chip was
reason.
coming out because it went
Because
into
the light had to go on.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like the towel,
He didn't have
it
to
was
put the
there
chip
for a reason.
back into the plane though.
He did.
It was
because-
just for the gag.
No, because the plane was a distraction. The
Yes.
It
plane
ended
was a
up being a distraction. It wasn't part of the plan.
Was the towel in the window part of the plan?
And
No.
I'm like, it's for the
was-
gag, and
it was
it's
used.
funny. It's funny.
It was
Yeah,
used.
yeah.
Just like the towel in the window was used.
So they're getting up into the air duct, right?
Yes.
And the whole plan is Yogurt's friend's going to be sitting there, and if there's a problem, he's going to turn off the water. Okay, great. That's awesome. That's a good
Fucking
plan.
Yogurt bitch
Okay,
out.
so they get.
No, it wasn't yogurt. It wasn't yogurt. It was
It was his
buddy.
friend. Yeah, it was his friend. So Yogurt's up in the air ducts with Sean Astin, right? And so he says, "There's a problem. Turn off the water." Did you guys happen to notice the graffiti on the bathroom stall?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see it? Okay. This graffiti is just kind of funny. It says, "I dig your mother." And then there's an arrow pointing to it with some other handwriting that says, "Go home, Dad, you're drunk." so this is like proto texting, right?
I totally missed that. That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, what's that say? I had to like pause it and I held up the computer. I'm like, what's that say?
It's right up there with fucking Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you get Michael Eisner's
There you
phone number
go.
on the
Yeah,
bathroom
totally.
stall.
That's funny. So I got a real problem, kind of moving forward. I got a real problem with the terrorist who washes his hands after he uses the bathroom.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
Dude,
for a long time.
he was making sure
He
his
was
shit
making sure that
clean.
shit was clean.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
I was like,
Wow.
this is contrived.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
he was just a little OCD.
Yeah, that's a pretty big detail
do
for
backstory on the henchman.
a throwaway
We could
throwaway
do
henchman.
backstory on the henchman, but we don't. But yeah, that was hella OCD.
But this movie has done a really good job up until that point, not having to get that contrived with the script. I was like, wait, he's washing his head. Wait, he's doing what?
Wait, he's still washing.
Okay,
All right.
and Yogurt grew a massive pair of steel balls at this point.
Yeah, the kid who was hiding at every single moment throughout the entire movie, going, no, I'm not, no.
No, that was Coogan's character, Snuffy or Sniffy or whatever the hell his name was.
The asthmatic kid?
Yeah,
the
Coogan.
one that jumped back into the throng, hiding behind the little freshman, which was great.
No, because they took over their room, and
But-
Yogurt was like always cowering, going, they're dumbasses, they're dumbasses, they're dumbasses.
He wasn't cowering. He just kept looking to his buddy and making those comments.
Yeah, they were total freshmen.
Oh
But-
yeah.
Yeah.
you've got a dude with a fucking semi-automatic weapon pointed at you, and being, the young, as you put it, cowardly kind of kid, the henchman does the whole shh with the finger up to the mouth kind of thing, and he stayed quiet as hell.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be pulling any hero shit.
How many people, have you ever seen the movie Cuffs?
No.
Fantastic movie, we should do it sometime. The main bad guy, can't remember his name, but anyway, the main bad guy, he's inside Cuff's apartment, and somebody knocks on the door, and the main baddie opens up the door, and there's this guy who's expecting the Cuffs character to be behind the door. Instead, it's a gun pointed at him. He throws his hands up like he's about ready to do the flamingo kick or whatever from Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Throws his hands up and he just goes and drops.
So you're holding your hands over your head and spitting.
The Karate Kid kick. I just figured that was assumed.
It's a crane technique.
The crane. Thank you. I'm all swan, flamingo.
Wait, one of the birds. It's the albatross. No, it's not the albatross.
The big fucking fish technique. Oh wait, no, bird. But no. So this kid who's supposed to be kind of cowardly, just okay, and he's quiet with a fucking semi-automatic in his face. It might have been a fully automatic. I'm not a gun guy. I don't know. But it was a big-ass gun. And he just quietly acquiesces, just, okay.
This is kind of a funny shot. It's a little bit low angle. It's pointed right at him. And Sean Astin is coming out of the ceiling. And the guy's just like, caught you. And then Coogan goes in the door. And then they rush the guy.
Okay,
and then,
if you saw a guy crawling out of the air vent in the bathroom...
No, Coogan did not come in. It was not Coogan. It was George...
Not Mario Lopez.
George not Perez.
George Perez.
It was Perez.
Is Perez? Okay,
yeah,
George
I don't
Perez.
know. It's
His
George,
character comes in, and that was when they attacked the guy.
Yeah.
But the itty bitty, prepubescent cowardly.
Yeah, they said hit him, and he totally grabs the gun and does it.
But I like that he didn't instantly go for the butt. They are not gangsters. They don't know how to... He's like, do I hit him with the tip? Do I hit him with...
No, he just fucking hit him with it.
No, but he stumbled around with it to get it at the right angle. He didn't
I would have grabbed him.
Bam!
I would have grabbed the muzzle and kind of did it sledgehammer style.
Swing down on him you're fucking chopping wood.
I don't know how to use this.
That had to have been a hell of a hit from that little twig of a kid, because it didn't just knock the henchman over.
The kid goes flying.
Sean Astin flew.
Yeah. It's I'm surprised he didn't hit Sean Astin in the head.
That was what I thought when I first was oh shit, he missed the henchman. He totally nailed Sean Astin with that one.
Maybe they're pressed for time and they don't worry about the pacing, but I wonder if they did discuss that. It's we should have him accidentally hit Sean Astin and then, hit the bad guy.
Dude, what the fuck's your problem?
So we are in full-blown attack mode here. Everybody's starting to storm. They're starting to execute the plan, all this shit. And so the guy who's with Louis Gossett Jr., he's doing his part, and Louis Gossett Jr. is like, well, maybe I should come with you. He's like, no, I can't do that. We can't do that. And so he says, I'll be fine with the map. He starts to crawl, and then one of the bad guys from the roof gets shot from the helicopters. He has enough time to let a grenade go and blows up basically the ground troops. The first assault ground troops, okay? So Louis Gossett Jr. follows up behind, and he grabs the guy's radio, and he says, no, there's a radio blackout. If there's a radio blackout, why in the fuck do they have radios?
Because it's a part of their gear, standard gear. You just bring it with you.
You just bring it with you?
Just bring it with you.
I don't know.
Here's what I thought was cool.
Why mention it then?
Here's what I thought was cool. And this was just perfection in the movie. So they've killed the father now in prison. There's obviously people on the inside because he opens up the gate, lets prisoners out, and they kill the father. The whole main reason
the cartel guy.
The cartel,
the head cartel guy that Andrew Divoff's character is trying to rescue.
Yeah, so they kill him, and They were smart enough to shut off the power so he could not watch the TV that he's been watching this entire time.
Which is
so
the reason for the electrical and radio blackout.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought that was
You like that?
Like,
Good,
bam,
good.
shut off the TV. Now he can't watch it. And
But he's onto that shit. He's like,
which
yeah,
is why they
and they let him know that
grenade.
I want this back on in an hour, which gives them 1
Start
hour
the
to
clock.
get all this done.
Start the clock. Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is why the surviving henchman, which that's why he lived instead of dying with, the snipers going for chest shots
Snipers
instead of
missed?
headshots. No, they didn't miss.
They did. He's not dead.
No, the snipers didn't miss. The snipers went for chest shots.
Yes.
Which that's not what you do.
You're assuming in the world of this movie the snipers know what they're doing. And their only
They
objective
should,
is to
because
kill
that's
them.
what a sniper's trained to do. You don't shoot somebody in the chest.
Wouldn't you go for a larger target?
Larger target's easy, but that's not what a sniper is supposed to do. The sniper is the one that can pick off, the fucking ace of spades from, 3 football fields away.
That's actually a really good question. I have no idea. If your objective is to kill somebody,
You don't shoot for the chest.
you shoot for
don't.
the head.
Behind the ear.
Huh.
Or like roughly in that area.
So anyway, they don't do the job. The guy gets off his
I'm
one
not a
last.
sniper. If I'm wrong,
Yeah,
call me out on
exactly.
it.
Yeah. No, nobody here's a sniper. We have no idea.
I always assume it's a headshot, but that's just me. Yeah.
You would go for the most likely kill shot, and the chest is not the most likely kill shot.
So Sean Astin.
they're all wearing fucking Kevlar.
So Sean Astin takes out one of the baddies with pots and pans.
Pots and pans. Pots and pans. Okay, you speak another language, I get it, but you're not a fucking idiot. What does this mean, pots and pans? Dude, I'm washing a fucking pot. Huh? Pot? And now I'm washing a fucking pan.
Is that going to be one of your criteria for getting a gang together for a hostage situation?
Yes.
Is to make sure everybody on your crew speaks English? I would think so. I mean,
consider-
Divoff was very concerned about making sure that there were no kids who could understand Spanish, because he's making sure he knows everything. It's like, does this kid understand what we're saying?
That part I got. But why your henchmen don't need to speak Spanish if your initial assault, your planned assault, is in Colombia.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But the same crew that was in Colombia is the same crew that he brought to the prep school. Did he really go through and say, okay, do you speak English?
I spent a fortune for this guy who could speak English.
Seriously, the only guy that needed to speak English, which really didn't even need to speak English, was the only white dude that was the bad guy.
The American. Yeah.
Who has done a number of films.
That did crack me up when not Mario Lopez. He comes up and he says, "This guy's name is Juan. This one's Sanchez." Blah, blah, blah.
And Carlos.
And then Coogan turns around. He's like, "Oh, you do speak a little Spanish?" And I'm like, "These are just names. You don't have to speak Spanish to get somebody's name."
No, the only problem I had with that scene was the amount of accent that he had to push or force on the name Carlos.
Well, you got to give not Mario
really?
Lopez a job.
Really?
That's his job.
Was that fucking necessary?
No, it was
You
not.
could have just said Carlos. But no, because he doesn't speak with an accent. Throughout the entire movie, he does not speak with an accent. But for that one scene, man, Carlos, that R had the hardest fucking role.
Pereza.
I would say, but I've never, ever, and I've practiced this. I've never been able to
You
get
have to
that
relax
R
your
roll.
tongue, Mike, and let the tip just touch the roof of your mouth. Didn't you see Spanglish? Carlos.
Yeah.
Carlos.
I sound like a cracked out fucking cat.
I don't think you're a very good example there, Trav. But that's cool. That's fine.
Carlos. But no, was that necessary for him to put so much
no.
forced accent on those names? No. That was just stupid.
But it was a lot less annoying than Mouth and Goonies. It's like, oh, bro, step aside, guys. I speak Spanish.
Oh, no shit.
I speak 200-year-old Spanish. No, you don't. People who speak English don't speak 200-year-old English, okay? Which is why we have to teach people what the hell Shakespeare means. All right, so what? We're wrapping up here. We're getting to the end of the movie. Sean Astin has to get all the kids into the basement, which he does and then he doesn't follow them. Why not?
Because
he wants to be, he's going to be the hero.
No, he had
There's
to
no
cover up-
reason for him not to go downstairs.
No, he had to cover up the trap door. Provided there were any henchmen left, because he doesn't know
That's
what's
a good
going on
point,
outside.
Mike. Yeah, he had
If
to.
ever
what's
I
going
built
outside.
a trap door, and I've thought about this in every single trap door movie, because they always move away the carpet, move away the this, there would be some little lever inside.
There
Listen to me. There are,
I hear you. I know where you're going
like
with this.
you should pull the lever and it should zoink the carpeting back over
I've
the
known
hole.
you for 21 years.
Yes.
Married to you for over 19.
Yes.
I know where you're going.
Yeah. all right.
I'm glad you guys know because I have no idea where you're
There
going.
are a few, very few movies where the trap door, as you're closing it, everything that was in place over the trap door actually gets pulled back over.
That's
said
so interesting you
trapdoor.
say that. I'm currently reading the narrative of A. Gordon Pym, written, or at least starting to be written by Edgar Allan Poe, and which is an awesome narrative. You should read it. It's great. It's all about
You just said it's starting to be written by Poe.
not started. It was the narrative was started by Edgar.
Started.
Started.
Okay, because Poe's
by
been dead
Edgar.
for a long fucking time.
He's starting it.
Is he really? Are you sure?
He just got started writing it.
No. I know Edgar Allan Poe. He's my neighbor. Real good guy. Drives a Ferrari.
Sell out.
Fucking tool bag.
But
He looks
no.
all nice on TV.
Sean Astin's character stayed behind because
He had to cover it up.
He covered up the trap door.
But in this narrative,
It made sense to
in
me.
this narrative, this kid goes into the hold of a ship, and the whole thing is, as they close that trap door, they got this string that pulls this carpet over it. So that's so funny you mentioned
See?
that. Yeah, I just read this last night. It was great.
That was smart
In a
writing.
few movies, a few books, it actually is written that way. You know, where there's like a rope or something that pulls whatever happened to be over it to begin with, pulls it back over said trap door once they go inside.
Yes. When I build myself a trapdoor entrance to my hideout,
For the zombie apocalypse.
I am going to make sure that I pull the zoink and get it back.
Do you think a
together.
zombie could be fooled by a fucking rug? A throw rug?
I'm sure
It's
they
not
could
the
smell
zombies,
ya.
dude.
Yeah.
It's not the zombies that need the rug.
You
pulled
said
over
the
trap
zombie
door.
apocalypse.
I did.
No, it's the
But
it's the other
it's every other
people.
jackass that happens to survive the
Oh,
zombie
yeah.
apocalypse.
You don't have to just worry about the
Yeah.
zombies. You
'Cause they're
got to
after
worry
your
about getting
food.
rushed.
Yes.
You know what to expect from the zombies. You don't,
Fucking
you don't know what
assholes,
to
man.
expect
It's
from the
every
living.
it's every man for himself.
Hell yeah.
So
I'm
that's
getting
why
my-
he stayed behind.
All right.
He stayed behind to cover it all
and
back
that
up.
one of the next scenes is Sean Astin hiding behind the door.
Yeah.
The gun.
I love that part.
I love
And
that
I do, I love that part.
It wasn't
yeah.
him being a badass. He's standing behind the door like, okay.
I
you
just
know?
like that he goes to walk out like, oh, nothing to see here.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I guess I don't
slams
see
the
this
door.
I'm
boy.
like, do you think I'm a dumbass?
God, his look on his face said that. That's
Yeah.
so funny you said that.
Thought it
Because
was
it's like,
great.
do you think I'm stupid? Do I look stupid
I
to
thought
you?
it was great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great.
I loved it, and I loved that he didn't take a million years to die. So that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So this is obviously leading up to the biggest punchline of the movie, which is the punchline we're all waiting for. What is this whole
The
chip with the
punchline.
plane and chip with the bombs lead up to?
Shot in the head. Yeah.
So he grabs him back into his office using Sean Astin as a human shield and all this shit.
This is where the vulnerability really
Yeah,
shows.
he's just like, nothing
He
is
looks-
going the way I planned.
He doesn't just look super pissed off and angry. He looks terrified.
You know,
Yeah.
Hans Gruber's plan never really pan out in Die Hard, yet he didn't really seem that frustrated about it.
no, he didn't.
but I was waiting for this guy to be like, you darn kids, you messed up everything.
I would have gotten
would've
away with it. I worked
too
for
if it
you.
weren't for you.
Meddling
kids.
kids.
Let's see who you really are.
Hans Gruber didn't shed a tear.
No, he didn't,
He
yeah.
played the arrogant ass up until the end, where it was like, "Oh shit, I am gonna die." You could see the true vulnerability. He
like-
wasn't just super pissed and angry. He looked terrified.
I
Totally.
just wonder, why did the SWAT guy have to be taken to the dean's office or the headmaster's office when
His goal was to disarm the bomb.
yeah, but they knew that he was not going to get. He did not have enough strength to actually get in there.
Get
he
over the
drug it-
wall,
He could
yeah.
have been there so much faster. Like, here, take my gun. Leave me behind. From way back behind the tree, he could have been like,
Well, he's
I can't
got to tell him
make
it's
it."
like, oh look, there's a bomb. Which wire should he pull? Oh, well, no, don't touch that
Oh,
one.
that's right. He did turn to him going, He's trying to pull wires.
The bomb will go off.
The bomb will go off.
That's when Louis Gossett Jr., badass that he is, dove through the window.
He is a badass,
yeah.
isn't he? Jesus Christ. All right, so we do get the punchline of the movie, and the guy's like, okay, that's it. My whole plan's gone to shit. I'm gonna go ahead and push this remote thing on my wrist, and we're all just gonna be blown to hell. Push. And it's hilarious. It's fucking
hilarious.
funny. Yeah.
I'm glad that they switched it over to the
It was a distraction.
So he turns him around and screams in his face, which is like, what else are you gonna do? I have nothing else. and then Sean Astin's response is great. It's like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please don't shoot me.
I forgot about
I'm
that.
sorry.
I totally forgot about that.
What was strange to me is that he's so quick to kill everybody who fucks with him.
Yeah.
But for some reason, clearly he got fucked with, and he does not turn and shoot the kid.
He's like, I'm gonna waste some words. Boom.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what you get, you piece of shit. Now I'm blowing up the
He
school.
only shot one person for directly interfering.
He did have a soft
The
spot for
chemistry
kids.
teacher.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, maybe he just I can't. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm not killing kids.
Not
The
killing kids.
chemistry teacher was the only one that he shot for
He just
directly
blew him
interfering.
right in the head, man.
Shot him. He didn't blow his head. That sounds a little pornographic.
Well, no, I mean, he really got his lips around it.
Shot. Whoa. Whoa. Different kind of rear busters.
Maybe Jennifer brought that up. You know,
It wasn't rear busters.
I think the only reason that
think.
Jennifer was used in this is her past history of soap operas. So it was that.
She's a soap opera
She's a
actress?
soap opera actress
I'll give
from
you.
the '60s.
I'll give you. But
So,
just saying.
obviously, Louis Gossett Jr. comes barreling through. The guy gets just, boom, right into his fake prosthetic forehead, and his blood starts streaming out, and he's dead.
Yeah, the helicopters moved in appropriately.
Louis
Everything was
Gossett
like
Jr.
count
Dun,
on
dun,
this
dun, dun.
kid. Yeah.
Bum, bum,
Hang
bum, bum,
on.
bum.
Not only did Divoff's character get shot in the fucking head, which was great because it looked so real. Oh, it looked so good.
He had a little bit of a growth there on his forehead. I mean,
Louis Gossett Jr. His character got shot very near the heart.
yeah, he got blown
And
right
man,
in the
he
chest.
looked damn good for a dude that just got his
He
chest
just got
blown
one in the
apart.
chest, man.
It wasn't just like a regular.
That's gotta be at least a
shot.
9
The gauze
millimeter.
He
just
had
placed
a
over him.
massive wound on his
And
chest.
it was also pumping. It was
No,
like,
it was more towards his armpit.
No,
It was
it
more
was
towards his
closer to
arm.
the.
This is a
Watch
pretty
it. It was closer to the center of his chest than it was the armpit.
There's a pretty serious artery in that.
Dude.
Yeah. That's
he
where his
had
fucking
his
heart
shit
is.
blasted
Yeah.
open.
Yes, for white gauze just being placed over with not bloody white gauze, just white gauze. That
And
was
everyone's
a
like,
problem.
well, we gotta take care of shit. You're fine, right? Oh, it's a flesh wound. Anyway.
Monty Python. Oh, wait, I'm not dead yet. I'll bite your ankles off. I'm not dead yet.
So, yeah, that's the end of the movie. So, who's recommending this movie?
Oh,
Well, see,
sorry, I'll let the
Big
woman go first.
All right, ladies first.
okay, so this is a problem. We're in a different day and age.
Oh, we're in a very different day and age.
All right, we have the school shootings.
We got Columbine.
Yeah, we have.
We got 9/11.
How on earth can we recommend? I highly recommend this movie.
I gotta say, some scenes were uncomfortable to watch.
It was a good movie.
All right, well, we're talking about two main things that are sensitive to us right now.
Yeah, we're
And that
from
is
Colorado.
We're from Colorado. So we have Columbine. Of course, as a nation, we've got 9/11, and we're still kind of sensitive to that. Now, this was how many years ago now?
This is 91, so I mean, this is over 20 years.
This movie's
24 years ago.
91.
24, almost 90, 25
But
years
what
ago.
about the Columbine? What about 9/11? 9/11, that was 2001, right? I mean, because
All right.
they made lots of mention about what was that Schwarzenegger flick with James Cameron?
Oh my God, Collateral Damage.
No, not Collateral Damage. I wasn't thinking of that one.
They actually postponed the release of that movie.
Right, I
because it
do.
was so
I
close to
remember them
9/11.
doing that. But it was where he drives the Harrier jet and all that shit. Arnold Schwarzenegger. True Lies.
True Lies, there you go.
So they that was like the kind of last movie before 9/11 where terrorists were these things that we could make fun of.
They
in
were
films.
novelties.
Yeah.
They were honest to God.
They were
novelties.
Middle Eastern, and all we were doing was laughing at them.
Yeah.
They were goofballs, and now not so much.
Okay, see,
And it's been like a good 15 years
Yeah,
since.
you know what? I could have gone my whole life without seeing it. I'm glad that I saw it. I think it was great. I mean, so well done. I highly recommend it if you are a fan of these characters.
And if you can...
Not characters, like the real life actors.
Oh yeah, the actors themselves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it was a good, uplifting story.
That's right, and it does have those classic story tropes that they do work in to tell a good story. And that's what we say is a good story.
Where you have a screw-up who thinks that he's a screw-up and nothing but a screw-up, but
he's
actually,
got something to contribute.
He's pretty damn
Absolutely.
crafty, and
Yeah.
all of his tinkering with this and tinkering with that paid off in the end.
Most
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Most
So
definitely.
you're recommending it.
I give it a full, just solid recommend.
Cool. Good.
Can you rip this movie apart? Of course you can.
You can't rip it apart.
I don't think you can rip it apart.
No.
I think if you
No,
really
there have
wanted
been some
to,
steaming piles of shit. This one, they really did.
I think this
it's not even
podcast has been a
close.
celebration of the movie more than anything else.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. I
it's
think it's a great, solid story,
it's-
and yes, I give it a full recommend.
I totally. You know what? I was gonna open up this podcast with this is underrated the movie. This this movie is definitely underrated.
Yes,
because
sir.
you don't. This is not in your usual pantheon of movies that people are quoting or referencing or anything like that. But this movie is solid, and the actors are solid.
Really
and
is.
this is going to take you on a journey. You're going to get your heart pumping. You're going to get involved in the characters and the situation. So, everything notwithstanding, and maybe you're going to get some uncomfortable scenes in light of relatively recent events in our culture, but it's a solid recommend for me as well.
Did I
This
get
is the
teary?
highest recommended movie from professional critics. Out of all the movies that we have done, this one has gotten the most solid.
All right. With that, I do want to send out a reminder that any and all correspondence should be sent to flicksanddicks@gmail.com. Make sure to check out our biggest sponsors website at recycle-bikeparts.com. You need used bike parts at a fraction of the cost. Go ahead and check them out. That's just our advice from a couple of dicks. And next week, I don't know what we got lined up. We hardly ever know what we got lined up, but make sure to check out that and the mailbag episode coming in a couple days. Until then, I'm Travis.
I'm Mike.
I'm Lisa.
Take it easy.